Everybody in the screen. Think I'm right. I got everyone. It's all lined up. Yes, it is. It is.
Hey, look at that.
Let me get you all.
I'm so sad. So nobody heard my goofiness?
Nobody heard your goofiness. We're going to pump you all up a little bit just to make sure that you're nice and clear. And
pump it up. Pump it up.
There. And hello, Twitch and internet world. I will just straight up do an introduction. My name is Steve. I am the game mommy, as you can see from my little title card right here. And I am joined by some of my favorite internet social media personalities that I promise you are real human beings behind that as well. This is Fool's Roll, a fantasy western epic in Pathfinder 2e here on the Beggarstreet channel. Welcome, all of my beautiful little babies, my beautiful little players. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to the audience.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
We will be doing introductions in order as you appear on the stream. So we are going to start with Rhea. Introduce yourself and your character name and the kind of character you're playing, specifically the class. You don't have to introduce the ancestry.
Got it. Hello, I'm Rhea. I play a character called Jolene Bell, nicknamed as Jolly Bell. She is a barmaid for a saloon called Happy Slappies, and she is a rogue.
Beautiful, wonderful. Just beside our wonderful rogue, will you please introduce yourself, Neon?
Hello. I am Scout, also known as Neon Saline, and I am playing Tally Fulbright, who is an inventor.
Excellent. And beside our inventor, will you introduce yourself? Token cis white guy.
The only player. We limited it to one. I'm Jordan at the Jordan Brown. I am playing MC. He is a barbarian.
And just beneath our barbarian, will you introduce yourself? A complete stranger to Beggar Talk, never yet, or to Beggarstreet, never yet seen before on this channel. That would be you, Jack. I was being sarcastic.
Oh!
not to the actual person. I realized that as I was looking at both of your heads, and I'm like, wait a second, one of that's accurate for that. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, one of them's very accurate, so I was like, yeah. Do it, Julia. Okay, so, this is my first time on Beggarstreet. It's great having to being here. It's a complete honor. Actually, I don't even know what Pathfinder is. What's a TTRPG? I'm assuming I have to eat the dice.
You have to eat the dice. That is part of it. That we all agreed on that in session 0.1.
So yeah. I get to play a catboy samurai, and I'm really, really excited to do that. Because
samurai.
I was born from the right genetics to be able to play a samurai. Get away with that.
You didn't know that Jordan demanded to play a samurai just before stream?
Let's...
No.
This is not Tom Cruise. That is not what happened.
And finally, wearing a hat over headphones like a goddamn champion.
Freaking amazing.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, right.
I'm Julia. I'm here playing Pathfinder for the first time. My character's name is Nell, and I am representing just a plain old humans going up against impossible odds.
Indeed.
And she's a swashbuckler. I remembered at the last minute.
Swashbuckler. Correct. So this is a lot of people's first time playing or dipping their toe into Pathfinder. It is my first time running it. I've played it for several sessions, and like everything, I come to it with the confidence of a mediocre white man and say I can run that. But welcome to the first session of Fool's Roll. This is not Pathfinder's world. This is a homebrew world. Obviously, there's a vibe. I think the overlay pushes it far enough. But you know what? Let's just get started. Let's get started, friends. And with the first roll of the game, let's do. You know what? We'll do one of the brand new people to the channel. Let's just start the way we started off introductions. Rhea, would you roll a d6 for me, please? And if it is a 1, please re-roll it.
Okay. Well, 6. Where's my 6? There's my 6.
As a GM,
2.
I make no decisions. I just do what the dice tell me to do. And since it's a 2, this is perfect. In the town of Plainsview, in a wonderful... Give me just a moment, actually. There's something that's happening in my ear that's absolutely going to destroy me. There we go. In the town of Plainsview, which is a wonderful, it would be, in a medieval term, it would be considered a village. In a modern term, it would be considered a freeway extended truck stop. Between here and there, with desert sprawling out, sand in every direction, a nice hot sun beating down here in the beginnings of summertime, in the summer season. Middle of the day, we find a row of wooden and slat buildings with light-washed rooftops, horses being drawn down the main drag, which only intersects with one other, like, moving street where houses sort of spread out and structures spread out in a nice little cross pattern. We see people in leathers and hides, denims and light linen clothing, seemingly used to the heat, although pretty much everyone's got a hat or a parasol or an umbrella or just staying leaned under the overhang of a shade. We have a barber shop, something between a mechanic and a smithy. We have a diner, kind of a restaurant, a gambling hall, and a tavern. But we have, most importantly, a wonderful and beloved saloon. Because don't all good tabletop RPGs start in a tavern? I believe you said the name of the bar. It's Happy Slappies, correct? That is the name of this wonderful saloon. In this saloon, we see several tables kind of scattered about. A handful of people there. Plainsview is maybe a town of 150 to 200. It swells and shrinks depending on who's passing through. There's 25, 35 buildings around the main sort of drag in the kind of offshoot corners, as well as several farms that kind of pepper the distance off to the side. It's not a place people usually go to stay, but it's a place that lots of people pass through. And so a bit of a trade hub, benefited, not quite as remote, not quite as backwater. We see a beautiful, like, dark oak bar with racks of various liquor bottles, some seemingly distributed by commercial vendors, others that are definitely bathtub moonshine. All manner is certainly served here at Happy Slappies. And behind the bar, we see an auspicious figure. Now, behind the bar, can you please, Rhea, describe Jollibee Jollibee. I knew I would do it. I had a verbal thought about it. I'm so sorry. Describe Jollibee, the most wonderful gas station. No, describe Jollibee what they physically
Jolly
look like, what
Bell.
they're doing.
Sure. Okay. So Jolly Bell is a giant cactus woman with cactus spines protruding out from her arms. And instead of where like human ears should be, there are cactus flowers, like light pink cactus flowers. And then she has long, pale blonde hair and got a big, nice Western bosom in a
For talent.
fluffy white blouse with the corset and
brings
the
her
big
assets.
skirt. She brings all her assets to the table
Mhm.
while she's cleaning a bar cup. And
There's an old gentleman in the corner of this bar that is here all the time. He's been here all the time for decades. Can you describe Grandpappy Joe for us? What is the owner of Happy Slappies look like?
Grandpappy Joe, he has his special rocking chair nestled by the front window next to the bar. He is a much older gentleman, hair as white as snow that doesn't. And he has his special hat that's one of those top hats, but it's smooshed, so it's got that little crick in it. Little
Yeah.
crooked top hat, and then the nice plaid button shirt that's red, and his good old trusty overalls that looks like he's been wearing for decades upon decades. It's his favorite one that has sewn on patches from other fabrics on places like the knee and the butt. And then he has a little handkerchief in his front pocket of his overalls and some worn work shoes that he wears, even though he doesn't walk around too much these days. And a little pipe that he likes to smoke out of leisurely.
Jolene, have you made sure that the delivery of the what are they called it bar food tavern food saloon eats, I don't know, something called a pretzel stick. I've never heard of a pretzel with a wine around itself. Have you made sure that those have managed to did the shipment come in? And he doesn't have his eyes open. He's obviously awake, but he mostly just like exists in his chair these days. He was old when you met him, and he's just older still. Older still. Yeah, did it come in, Jolie?
Oh, it sure did, Grandpappy Joe. I made sure to put them all fresh in the back and keep them nice and warm, just right for the customers.
Well, that's good. That's good of you, Jolie. You take such good care of the place. I'm sorry I have to keep hanging around so you can't inherit it, but one of these days, one of the spirits will probably take me. And Grandpappy Joe's incredibly dark humor that he's been making for 3 decades about the fact that any day now he'll move on continues to confuse the other regulars at the Patron. It's a normal day around Plainsview in general. It's nice, the consistency of this place. Yes, strangers roll through, but not. It's what's nice about a remote town is that the people you see are the same people every day. The customers you get order the same thing, and you can pretty much predict almost anything that's going to happen. Can you please roll me a perception check?
Okay.
Just Jolly or all of us?
Just Jolly.
Oh
Okay.
my god! My least favorite phrase. 16.
16. Jolly, you hear the shouts and yells of people, not panic per se, but just cries of shocked people, and yells, out in the distance. You can even hear some of the words coming out. You got to get him. Get out the way. Like people just yelling and calling out in abject panic. You can't really see anything. You're inside. You're toward the back of the house, if you will, behind the bar and everything. And we'll get to you. But we're going to transition to another one of our wonderful people. This time we'll go with Neon. Would you roll me a d6? And if it's a 1 or a 2, re-roll it, please.
Okay.
I'd really love it if everyone rolled their own number. That would be cute and very fate-driven.
Aw. It was a 2. Hang on. 6.
6. Okay. Out amongst the community, there's the general store in here in Plainsview. We're almost rewinding a little bit, a few minutes. General store here in Plainsview. There's people that like walk about. There's certainly the baker that provides baked goods for the community and everything like that. And there's houses, right? There's houses certainly on the main street, on the main boulevard here, kind of the main thoroughfare, as well as houses kind of scattered about, peppering the area, sort of around there. But where would you say, Julia, that Nell is currently in the town on any given brunch time kind of morning here in Plainsview? Where would you say Nell's been, and where is Nell headed?
Nell's just taken jobs wherever she can, but I think today she's inside Slappy Jacks. Is that what we
Happy Slappies
said? Happy Slappies.
Yeah.
Very close. No, Happy Slappies. I think she's inside and probably playing cards with the same bunch of degenerates that she's been playing cards with for the last month or so. Just passing around the same $5.
And what does
Not a lot of money on the table here.
What does our card playing swashbuckler look like physically? What does Nell look like?
Nell is young. She's about maybe 21 years old. Long copper red braids all the way down to her waist. Skinny thing, looks underfed. Little bit of dark eye bags under her eyes, and just wearing a dark brimmed flat-brimmed hat and a big oversized gunslinger's coat that is far too big for her.
Wonderful. The regulars around, it's rotating, certainly, but it's the kind of daytime regulars of Happy Slappies. One of them, Big Bill Higgins, finishes off his plate of deep fried frits, or essentially steak fries, right? Steak fries, and it's like, you come to Happy Slappies for the company, but you stay for that Happy Slappy afternoon happy menu. It's so good. Anyway, I'm out. Big Bill folds like, honestly, a house of cards every time on every hand. The man has no gut to him. Why
do you even come here? Why do you even come?
I said the company and the Happy Slappy Appies. They're delicious. I just said that now. And anyway, you're just bleeding me dry slow. Why do you need to bleed me dry fast? Give me, if you would, Nell, would you be so kind as to provide me with let's go with I'm going to call it you can play it as either diplomacy or a deception check. If you would, well, you play these hands of cards to decide, is Nell a card cheat or not, essentially.
It's not that she's opposed to being a card cheat, but I don't think she has to right now. I'm going to roll my little teeny tiny D20.
Just the most petite D20.
I got that 20.
Hey,
D20. That's auspicious. That's the first roll.
You're on a you're on a bit of a hot streak. Like you said, you kind of pass the same 5 gold around, but sometimes someone's renting it for quite some time. And yesterday and today, you've managed to keep yourself kind of well paid and sort of well set up so that you can kind of pick and choose the sort of jobs that come up on the job board at the center of town, right in front of the sheriff's office. You get to be a bit choosier with it. I'm going to ask you this very simply. I'm going to say that decide right here how much money Nell has to her name. If you would be so kind and roll me a d20 and give me the flat number of it. Because you rolled a 20 on the last one, this will be with a automatic bonus to it of money, since your gambling's been going well.
19. This dice is hot.
This dice is hot. Now, you are currently sitting with nearly 30 gold, which, to put it in range of how much that expense, it's a couple coppers for a drink or a small food, maybe 5 coppers for like a full spread here at Happy Slappies as far as the dinner. You could easily find a decent room with minimal to no roaches in it in this town, or in most towns in this area, in this country, this region, for a silver, right? And so you're living pretty good right now as far as that. I'm just going to give you the question. The question: would Nell push her luck and try to obtain? Is she the type of person to try to attain more money, or and like push her luck, or is she more of a consistent reserved player?
Who wouldn't try to attain more money?
All right.
That's not the life we're living here.
All right, you got 29 gold to your name. How much do you want to bet?
Oh man, Julia versus Nell. 25 gold.
25 gold. Big money.
She looks at this guy and she's like, "Look, I will put 25 gold back on the table if you also go in. But you have to stay. You have to play. I'm not looking to have a boring afternoon."
My wife is gonna. And some of the other people around the table are just like, come on, Bill, just get in the game for once.
Come
and Bill's
on, Bill.
like, all right, here, I'll push in on all of it. And Bill puts a gold pocket watch that's embroidered with his name that just says Big Bill on it on the outside, and he's like, this should cover the cost of it. And I'm not making you roll a perception or like a jeweler's check of any kind. It would. It's about the right price for something of that. There's real gold on that watch and everything. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have, because it is Happy Slappies and it's sort of the domain invented by our player, I'm going to have a contested roll here. This is going to essentially be a flat luck check. It's D20 versus D20. Rhea, would you be so kind to roll for the table? And Nell, would you be so kind to roll for yourself? And we're going to see who manages to take it.
How'd you do?
3.
3.
19 again.
Oh! All right.
Spicy dice.
Take note.
Spicy
You now
dice.
have a total of 54 gold now.
Nell tries to play it cool. She kind of just like leans back. She's like, "I thought you might give me a good game, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll take what I'm owed." And she takes the watch, but like it's almost like, the joke of like you turn around and you're like, yeah.
Well, you're turned around. Big Bill stands up. All 6 feet, and we'll go 8 inches of him. He's a big boy, and he's not scrawny. He probably weighs 4 of you now, He's a big man.
Yeah.
And he goes, you all convinced me to do this, but you can't take my watch. You can't take it. I'll figure it out. You can't take it. He is like gesturing at you pretty wildly, but you can see his left fist is Arthur clenched, like hard white knuckle clenched on that. His shoulders square up. Now.
Hey, darling, I don't want any trouble, but you put in your watch fair and square. So, she looks around to all the other people who have been watching them gamble. She looks behind the bar over at Jolly Bell. She's just like, I just played the game. I'm sorry that luck don't have you on its side today, but there's nothing I can do.
As that's erupting, Jolly Bell, normally you'd eyeball that immediately and keep track of it and deal with this. But as we said, just as this moment is occurring, a loud ruckus occurs outside with shouts and yelling about something getting loose or something getting away from them and people running. You can hear those noises, but we are going to cut away again. Now we're going to have Jordan. Jordan, give me a D4 roll. And if you get a 1, re-roll it. Shrinking.
It was prepared for the 6. I got a 2.
2. Okay. Jordan. Sorry. MC. You're probably not, at least initially, here in the middle of the day at this location at Happy Slappies. I'm going to just let you open this up. Where is MC? What does MC look like? All of that, because it's very much your space. So here you go.
Sure.
Take the reins.
MC is an automaton man. So he is metallic over like a chassis that covers clockworks that work in grind inside of him. He works and owns his repair shop, which is called MC's Auto Body, where if it's a part of his automaton body, he can fix it. He would be almost certainly there right now. I think when we see him, he's hunched over, working on like an old clock that someone brought in. He is the town repairman, and has. He's very clearly like he has made all of the pieces that cover his body, and he clearly has spent a lot of time on the head to make himself as sort of humanoid and handsome as possible. He's got like blue jewels inset for eyes because he noticed that people really loved people who had blue eyes, and so he tried to copy that, and like chiseled jawline and just like as symmetrical as he could make it. Everything he has learned. But as he stands up, you see that he is both 5'2", tall and wide. He is he's a short king.
He's big. He's a big boy, big thick boy that's very short in stature. Love it. Work's been a little bit busy lately. A handful of people have been having little bits and bobs break down, and not just that. Other people have just gotten in the habit of seeing if maybe MC can help them out on things. From helping them out, maybe hauling a whole bunch of feed or hay from the general store and back to their farm, to seeing if he can help out with whitewashing some of the wood outside in preparation for the heat to keep the houses as cool as they can. To literally, I mean, there's been problems with water pumps into personal wells that that they're like, well, you seem to be able to fix things. I'm sure you can do all handyman work. You seem very capable, and everything. So work's been a bit of a flurry, not to the point where you're behind, but definitely to the point where it's been keeping you real busy. And I think at this time you remember that you've managed to go almost 2 whole weeks without having to do really anything outside of work. Certainly not make your regular trips down to the local watering hole, if you will, Happy Slappies, and everything. Would you say that MC is the kind of person that wants to finish the task first, or can he put the task up when the thought dawns on him that there's another task that has been it's a different sort of thing, but it's a little neglected at this point?
No, MC has to finish the task at hand before he can go do his fun tasks. So he, but I think in realizing that, very quickly gets to work. In his little leather apron and hide pants that he has sewn onto his body.
A mechanoid man with pants, because you have to wear pants. You can't just walk around pantsless, regardless of what's going on. Then give me a perception check, but give it to me with disadvantage, please, because you're busy in your task.
Okay. It's an 11. And an 11.
Perfect.
I think I have a +1 to perception. I do.
I will double check.
Did I?
You have a +5 to perception.
Oh, it's over here on the left. I'm sorry,
Yep.
I didn't see it. It's
No
not
problem.
in my list of normal
Skills,
yes, it was 16. Yes.
16. All right. You hear a rumbling going on. You hear a shocking kind of almost thunderous noise coming through. Not something, you know what a handful of horse riders with galloping hooves sound like? Sort of in that vein. Kind of. It kind of feels that. And it's happening. It's going by the front of your shop. Is that enough to pull MC away from a task?
Yeah, for sure. He just stands up. What in the Sam hell? And slaps his large hammer that he carries to help drive in fence posts into the grooves on his back that magnetize and allow him to carry it with him. And he hustles out the front of MC's auto body.
So MC's going to be the first person of the players that sees this. A large, heavy, furry, just truck-sized, a bison, and a couple of other ones that would be arguably medium-sized or maybe sedan-sized, are barreling through main thoroughfare, and they've already begun to panic rush into clipping sides of front porches on some of the things, knocking over a wagon and everything. And there are people literally yelling and running out as other people are running after this herd of essentially a small herd of stampeding bison. Not something you've ever seen in Plainsview happen before. You've seen bison. They're about. But never something in this fashion. Certainly not in the center of town. Certainly not between or right at the intersection where you sit kitty corner from Happy Slappies at your body shop, if you will. Your repair shop. And everything. What's MC's
I
first
think
instinct?
MC says, "Oh, well, now this simply won't do," and is going to attempt to wrestle a bison.
Do you go for the big one or one of the medium ones?
If people are in danger, the big one.
The big one. All right. Yeah, you run up to this bison. I'm going to roll on it, and you are going to roll athletics, if you would be so kind for me.
I do have a +7 to athletics. That's a natural 20. My beautiful, beautiful unicorn baby on my NADPOD dice.
Wonderful.
That's a
I
27 total.
rolled considerably lower than that. I rolled a natural 1. MC, would you like to describe what it looks like in this 27 versus natural 1?
Matt, I mean, I'm assuming that the bison is taller than MC.
Yeah, much
So
taller.
he has to jump and grab it in like full headlock, just down into the dirt. As he's like, now, we don't need this round here, and just kind of pins it to the ground.
Well, MC is busy wrestling the largest bison very successfully. Let us go to the next, and I'm just gonna pick now. Next player to introduce where they're currently at. Neon.
Yes.
It's brunch. This is just before the events I've described again, a few minutes before, right? Kind of thing.
Mm.
And everything. Where do you feel like Tally would be on your average afternoon amongst the wonderful
On the
community?
average
Yeah.
afternoon, well, Nell's playing cards again, and I was there one of the times it went sideways, so I feel like I try to be at least peripherally in Happy Slappies. I'm probably on the other side, like closer to the door, fiddling with something. But Tally is a pretty tall orc. She's about 6'3", a fair bit more willowy than you would expect a orc to be. So she's like relatively finely dressed. She wears suits a lot, pants, waistcoat, that kind of thing. But she always has like a bit of like cloth laid out so that when she's working on something, she can clean up and be like respectable to the establishment, because she don't want Jolly having to do more work than she needs to. But she'll notice that she's like screwing something in, but she's looking at the card table.
Looking at the card table, screwing something in. Give me a perception check as you watch Big Bill stand up from the table as Nell just won a trusted item.
Trying not to say bad words.
You can say
I
bad
have a
words.
natural 1, which makes it a 4.
You can curse. Fuck it. We're fine. It's okay. It's
I was just
100%
calling the
fine.
dice a rat bastard.
Rat
I got
bastard.
a natural 1 and +3.
So, something jams while you're screwing it in. Something jams and distracts you from the moment at first, right there. Something jams. But even with 1 perception on that leaves you more than available to notice the ruckus first. And since you're right by the door, you can see through the windows beside the door of Happy Slappies the chaos. You see the bison running down. There's about a half dozen of them total. There's one big boy that seems to be unconcerned about obstacles in his way, and then several others in the trail are in the wake of this. And people running basically, scattering out of the way. But what you do see, like in this moment, you manage to see MC, who everyone in the town is familiar with, because there's only one like mechanoid man that exists in this town. You see MC basically launch out of his repair shop across the street and just form like noose tackle this big bison that's easily, like area wise, more than probably 2.5, 3 MCs as far as overall size, but just form tackle and wrestle him to the ground. But that is not. There's more bison than just the one. And MC does an amazing leap to this. What does Tally do in response to seeing this
Uh,
sight as other people are kind of standing up and noticing it?
I feel like she kind of hits the head cock for a second when he takes the bison. It just like, where? But then, attention is brought to the other two. Going through, looking at, so are there any, like, she'll try and, like, pull people, like, out of the way, like, if somebody's, like, near the saloon and, like, bison's coming out.
Oh, so you
like,
just
help pull 'em
immediately
up to
jump
the-
out the door and try and pull bodies back in
Yeah.
and out of the way. All right, give me an athletics or an acrobatics check. You can pick.
All right, I'll do acrobatics because this is movement over speed, doing fancy shit, I guess.
Just
14.
14. All right, for 14,
Where's my
there's-
dice?
already
I'm
upset
not
with the
rolling a
digital dice.
foundry no more.
Already just furious at the digital dice. Yeah, I mean, you see a couple of kids and everything that are kind of stalled out, people that think that they're in safety, but honestly probably aren't unless there's a full wall between them, because these bison aren't running, like, they aren't beelining in a direction in a formation. They are kind of running wildly in every direction. I am going to ask you if you could also please roll. Let's go with it's not a high one for you, but can you also roll nature for me? You don't get really a bonus to it, but
All right, we're gonna try one more time.
Before you roll, we do have 1 point of hero points, right?
oh
we start each session with
hero
one.
points, which are sort of the inspiration. All right, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
There we
Yes.
go.
I shoot everything. No,
We're
So
back.
The city,
The stream
the
should be
little
back.
town is on fire, and there's a kaiju in the background.
Hold on.
Great section one.
Mute the site. There we go. We should be back
Yeah, we're back now.
on the stream.
I see us.
Okay, that's what matters. I apologize for that. I might have been using the completely wrong internet this whole time, which might explain what was going on.
okay.
It's what happens when you
Let me
live in
fix
old,
that.
small neighborhoods. But
Grim is
nonetheless,
like way behind us, isn't it?
what?
Nothing. Never mind.
I apologize. So I didn't catch what you rolled on your nature check.
16.
16. You know that herd animals in general, horses at least, and certainly probably bison, when they're running, they run form. And you know that this seems more like hard panic. Something has scared them, not to get away, but that something has like riled up their minds to a point where they're almost like they're in the introductory moment of being scared, but they just keep being in it as they run rampant and wild. And everything. You've pulled in a couple kids, you pulled in a random bystander and pushed them back into there. I'm going to get to the rest of the people in Happy Slappies and get you all kind of together in a space right after we get to our final player that has yet to be able to introduce themselves, like introduce their character and where they are.
Wait, I'm playing too? Cool. So hi.
Oh, hold on.
Saito. Oh no, what happened?
I'm sorry. You were using the
good.
voice effect, so I didn't recognize that it was you talking. I thought you were just someone random in the channel. I apologize.
Am I doing a voice mod? I must have clicked something. I'm so sorry. Give me a second.
I did. I'm so sorry. Here's my voice.
Okay, because I was like, "Who is this? Who's in our chat?"
Who is this deeply baritone?
I am your father.
Oh!
It sounds
Listen,
good though.
Just be glad it wasn't my BBEG voices, because that would have been not the best. So no, Saito doesn't sound like that.
As Grandpappy Joe is jawing on about the new appetite, like the various bar snack food delivery and everything. With Nell gambling at the table, Tally kind of working there, while MC is still working in a shop. Where is Saito at this moment? And what does Saito look like?
So, so Saito is sitting nothing like me. He's sitting ramrod straight, right by the bar, and he's sharpening his katana, while in his favorite spot by the bar, where he can see everything, including all exits. Um, and he's probably also watching Null slowly get herself into trouble, and trying to decide whether or not they should step in or not. Um, and he's 6'2". Sorry, they're 6'2". Very soft brown furred kitsune. And they have this plain white hakama on with this blue obi, and this green silk yukata thrown over him, by some magic refusing to fall off of their shoulders. And that's Saito.
And so Saito is sitting surveying the space, acting as
Mhm.
someone who needs to kind of keep eyes in all directions, just in case kind of thing. So it's no surprise, I guess, for Saito when things begin to start escalating at Nell's poker table.
I feel like
What's
this is probably a common occurrence.
Yeah, it's not uncommon in the way that it's not so much that Nell seeks this out, it's that Nell sometimes can be misperceived as someone who a strong wind can blow over occasionally. If someone's doesn't have a trained eye, really, to look at it, and also seems to be really lucky at gambling recently, in a way that usually would imply somebody's hedging the randomness of it. So you catch that the table plus now cajole Big Bill into doing this. Let me get a from you. Let me get a. I want to know what it's called in Pathfinder. This is always going to be my thing because it's an insight roll, but it's not, I think, called insight in Pathfinder.
Yeah, it's called something else. Wait, hold on.
We're going to actually, for you, have you roll a let's go with a up and down perception check on Bill as he puts in his pocket watch. So just a regular perception check. I believe you have a +6.
I do. That would make it a very sexy 22.
Ooh, very good. So perhaps because you perhaps it relates to something very meaningful in your past or not, but you recognize that Bill is making a choice here that may not be something as easy as giving up a handful of coin. Bill works over at the mines, kind of off to the east and everything. He has regular income, and he's pretty frugal with his coin in general. But this moment when he agrees and then pulls out his pocket watch, you just catch something in the body language, something in the tension around his neck, that this is not as casual as the words coming out of his mouth. And you get to see the whole scene unfold when he inevitably loses said pocket watch and begins rising from the table. What does Saito do in this moment before the ruckus?
Just for clarification, is it the watch itself has so much sentimental value, or that this amount of money is very important too?
I think that having been around town for long enough and definitely having at least passing acquaintance with pretty much everyone that lives here, works around here, you would know that the watch is more meaningful than the money for this man with the 22.
Mhm. Um, I think Saito just yes.
Go on.
Saito, as they see this, just not me misgendering my own character, sees this unfold, carefully sheathes their katana back, and stands up and tries to make it so that they slip between Null and Big Bull.
All right, give me a stealth check.
Oh no! Like, very obviously.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm going to put myself between you two.
You're just physically in the
Oh yeah,
space.
just I am a 6'2" skinny wall.
Mhm.
Like, let me put myself here.
So you move toward that, which puts you in a great position to standing between Nell and Bill, kind of alongside the table as he stands up. Puts you in a great position to see Tally suddenly rush out the door to the noise that's happening, the cacophony of hooves and shouts happening, and you just instant, like, in a relatively quick order, you see Tally step out the door and then Tally return in the door with a basically arm wrangling a child back in, and then moving out the door again as this noise is happening. Now, with all four people inside of Happy Slappy's kind of in the same timeline. What are Saito, Jolly Bell, and Nell? Because Tally's already in action. MC's already wrestling a big ass bison. What are the other three of you doing with this noise?
I think Saito's gonna really quick clock that, realize something's going on out there, and be like, excuse me, Big Bull, I will get you your watch back. And looks at Null, and you will have your money. But first, allow me to see what is happening outside. And out he goes.
No?
Look, like I say, I don't want no trouble. And then I'm gonna use one of my swashbuckler actions. I want to try to tumble through. I stride up to my speed. During this movement, you can move through the space of one enemy. So I want to, like, do a tumbling move under. He's 6'8". She's like 5'3". She wants to tumble under his arms out the door. Capitalize on the chaos of the moment. So if I'm reading this correctly, it looks like that is a skill acrobatics check. You attempt an acrobatics check against the enemy's reflex DC.
Yep. Roll that thing.
Okay, lucky tiny D20. Let's go. 16 plus acrobatics plus 6. She's 22. Good at this. 22.
Jolly Bell, you watch as Saito, in classic Saito fashion, inserts themselves to de-escalate a situation, but not like in a verbose way and everything, but then quickly moves out the door to all this noise, and which allows you to catch a glimpse of now just somersaulting between Big Bill's wide stance legs, like rolling under an obstacle course almost, and watching Nell pace. As Saito moved quickly and on foot, Nell paces it like a tumbler from a carnival, just absolutely in stride. What does Jolly Bell do? Because you're kind of behind the bar, you'd be a little bit flagged behind them. As you also see, Tally is already moved in and out the door again, like out and in and out the door again, kind of thing.
Really fast on that 22. I think Nell is able to, as she's going for the tumble, tip off her hat, go and then come out of the somersault
Gotta have that on.
Redon the hat.
Redon it.
And
Gotta be majestic.
she's out the door. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, go ahead, Tally Bell.
My word, it is quite a lively day today. And she's gonna look over to Grandpappy Joe and make sure he's like out of the way of all the chaos first before I think going out from behind the bar to check on the people that Tally had brought inside. Since everybody's already like rushed out there, she'll like hold house within the saloon.
The children are children, scared, but like also curious, and everything. So the adult that was pulled in is not their parent. But the nameless NPCs, if you will, look a bit rattled, especially the adult, until Jolly Bell just kind of strides up kind of confidently, and confidently and begins like ushering them away from the door as some other people are beginning to filter through the door. And you can see now from the vantage, now you can see the slightly less than half dozen bison that are kind of wrecking the main drag of the town. One has at this point, as you see, MC has the largest one sort of is wrestling with the largest one on the ground on its side right now, and it's kicking kind of furiously. And MC's got a full arm bar kind of around it, trying to hold it down, and doing so relatively successfully. You see that one of the other kind of mid-sized bison has gone into a building, into an open-doored building. One of the houses here on the main street, and people are crying out, and Tally and Saito and Nell and MC are now kind of up in the mix of this. Now, we're not having a traditional combat here because these are not bandits or monsters. These are just animals in the area. But I would ask, in order for this to be initiative, the first thing is, all of you are seeing this kind of chaos erupt. The crowd's kind of moving to the side. The bison now, with all the yelling, not really sure which direction to go, and their leader on the ground, so they don't have a follow point. Saito and Nell, you're and Tally, you're all kind of like near, like next to each other, kind of in the same thing. I lay the floor to you three for a bit here. What do the three of you do when you see this sort of chaotic, kind of natural panic scene?
Saito is gonna look around, see if maybe they can find some rope along by the salon. Maybe something they use to, tie up horses. Wonderful horses. I love horses, by the way. And get their hands on that. Turn to Tully and he said Nell's with us, right?
Yeah.
I pop up right behind you. Out of the tumble.
Saito's just gonna shake their head. We should talk, you and I. In the meantime, if you don't mind, I would like to try and round up the animals, maybe lead them away from here. You think you could help me?
Tally's out here
Sure.
with us, right?
Yeah.
Hmm?
He's
I feel like she pushes
they're
towards-
talking to the both of you. They're talking to the both of you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, that thing you have, that makes real loud noises sometimes, right? Pointing at your gun.
Generally, yeah. Generally, yes.
I mean, maybe like we just spook them on out of here.
Good a plan as any. So Tally will kind of
boom, people run real quick.
Is
with
there
the
a
way
way?
they're running, is that viable?
It might be. It's not a terrible plan. It's certainly a
Love
gunshot's
DM
gonna.
endorsement.
A gunshot is certainly louder than the commotion that's happening, and certainly sharper. it definitely plays into their fear state that you've kind of judged, where they're like terrified. Just to clarify too for you, Saito, there's plenty of rope. The rope is a plentiful here in Plainsview. Number of horses that people have rode in and then just like tossed the rope over the railing, and for some reason that's enough to stop a horse from going. I never understand why that works in westerns, but like they're just like, oh, here's a horse,
There
and then
is
they
an
just like
actual reason for that.
I know there is.
I
I know there is, but it always looks so casual where they're just like, and I've locked it.
You should see that with elephants as well. Very
It's
funny.
wild.
They think they're stuck there.
They think they're stuck there. Yeah, there's plenty of rope. There's not only rope attached to other animals, but there's like spools of rope, like kind of hanging within 20 feet of where you're standing. Very easy to grab and get.
While Nell and Tally are talking, if you would allow me to, Saito is going to obviously grab a roll of rope and scramble to the top of the saloon to try see if they can clock what it is that has panicked these bison.
Okay, we will get to that. What we're doing, though, is we're returning to MC, who's currently on the ground, wrestling with a bison. Very successfully, I might add. Very successfully. That is more than twice his size. And MC, by like mass, is very heavy and solid. But by overall area, not as much. And everything. And so you're wrestling with the bison. MC, you've got it to the ground. What's your before I poke you in a direction? What's your instinct here?
I mean, I think MC wants to subdue and move to the next one. So if he can get rope, if not, he would be yelling for someone to toss him some rope.
Give me a let's go with a persuasion. Sorry, not persuasion, not D&D. A diplomacy check. That's the word. Diplomacy check.
Ooh, oh no. That's a 7 total.
That's a 7 total.
He's busy.
Nobody seems to be as like head clear as you. You do now, out of the corner of your eye, see Saito and Tally and Nell coming out of Happy Slappies, and you see Saito at first going for rope, and you're like, perfect, and then they go up to the top of the building, and you're like, maybe not. But you are still looking to control this animal. I'm gonna need another athletics check, but because it's prone, I'll give it to you with wait, this doesn't have advantage. I'll give you an extra boost, a circumstantial bonus. So instead of +7, you get +9 to this roll.
Okay, that's an 18 total.
18 total. Okay, I'm gonna roll again.
I'm sorry, 17 total.
Oh, well, now your chassis explodes. It was the hair thing. No. Let me do the quick roll here to see that. All right. This is a pretty dogged pull. You've got control. The bison is now engaged with you. It is riding its nuptials. It is ready to commit to MC and its life together. But it's also playing it a little challenging. It's playing it a little tough and everything. And so, while you're locking it into space, you can't really get it into a direction. And every time you move a direction, it resists in the opposite, and you're still sort of grappled into this thing. Is there anything else that you want to just try to do, or say that you might have on you, or might be around you, that you can just do to help subdue this bison?
Yeah, I don't think MC wants to hurt the bison.
Exactly.
He's clearly scared. So I think he is, if you will grant me this, grab by the horns if he can, and just go knock it off and headbutt him.
Headbutt it.
I was hoping for a headbutt.
Headbutt. All right. You've already got it locked up. You're going to do, this is going to be a unarmed strike, which you do have on your character sheet. So you can just trigger it.
Yes.
So it's the +7. And I'm still going to, because you're grappling it. So you would, if this were another system, you would have advantage on this. So I'm still going to let that +2 ride. So you have a +9 to your headbutt.
Okay. Oh gosh, and I dropped my dice onto my lap. That is 1, so I'm going to use my hero point.
Yeah, that's the right
to
choice.
re-roll that. And that is going to make a considerable difference because that's a 19 now instead, so a total of 28.
28. All of you see this, Saito, from your perch, even before you're beginning to look in the direction that I will soon narrate on where the bison came from. Tally and Nell from out in front of Happy Slappies. And then even Jolly Bell, you hear this. The absolute... to be clear, I'm not fracturing anything on the bison. I'm just using it for the onomatopoeia. The absolute crack that happens when MC almost leaping jumps forward into a full body, straight spined headbutt onto this giant head of this bison. And the bison, with a success of 16, but you did +10 over that success, and this is Pathfinder, so that's a critical success. And critical success just drops to sleep, just absolutely goes unconscious. It was like you flipped a switch like you would on any of your little clockwork toys that you've kind of played with before, repairing children. You flipped a switch and the creature just drops unconscious, out like a light, fully asleep. You immediately hear it begin to snore, and I would argue that Tally, for you, you notice at that sharp sound, there's almost a brief pause on the other bison in the area that are kind of going wild because that cut through the noise and everything. And so maybe that gunshot idea from now isn't actually too bad of an idea because they seem to notice and then go back to caginess. I'm going to have you fire the gun. You're not firing it at anyone, but I'm going to have you fire the gun as almost a luck check. The efficacy check on this one. Go to your character sheet, make sure that it's set up correctly. I'm going to have you draw it. There we go. So you can fire your trigger brand.
Okay, let me find it.
On your actions, which is the second icon in.
Okay.
There should be a strike +6.
Yes. Okay. And so we're gonna.
And so you can roll and just add
no
+6.
ammunition.
Don't worry about it. You can just roll and add 6 with your physical dice. I forgot to add ammunition to your thing.
All right. Well, I'll roll here.
The digital dice roller does not like you. What's the total on that
It would have been an 11.
Oh my gosh.
You do have a hero
11.
point if you want to re-roll it on that one.
I will. Hang on.
Dude, I had to craft an entire character arc for one of my characters because the digital dice hated me so much.
Oh my god.
She had to have like a story of self-growth out of failure because all I could roll was 10 or less for like a month.
No.
24?
Ooh.
That's so much better.
Yeah.
You look so concerned.
It almost landed on like 6 or something. I was staring at the dice and brought it to me.
A 24. What is a 24? Absolutely, absolute success. As far as the bison go, they immediately begin. They clock the noise. They all stop dead still. And then they begin rushing to the closest direction away from Slappy Happy's that doesn't have a building in front of them, except the one that was in a building. That one actually runs through a wall and obliterates the side of that building's wall to get out of it. It's going to be some significant repairs. It doesn't like topple the building or anything, but much like a car just like driving into the front of the building, it crumples the slat siding and the framing of it a little bit as they as they begin rushing in the direction out of town. Tally and Nell and Saito, or Tally and Nell, give me a perception check on where the bison are moving, and then we'll get to what Saito is looking.
Okay. Where's perception? Okay, +5. I'm just so damn impressed with that fancy old gunshot that I rolled that one.
Oh no.
Fine. Hopefully.
15 plus 3 is 18.
18. So now, like many of the people of the town, kind of like almost hits the deck, even though Nell saw you fire it into the air, like almost hits the deck because it was such a loud and shocking noise. Everyone else begins to duck until they clock, gun in the air. They see the smoke coming from it, and so that the humanoids all kind of get what's going on. Tally, you notice.
Shit, damn! You're supposed to call it before you fire.
Sorry, I'll do it in the future.
Tally, you notice that they are absolutely all headed hard west. They came in from the east. They are headed hard west. It's almost like your gun put them back on track of, oh, this is how we stampede. We all go together in one direction as a group to for maximum safety from predators. And they begin to run. It doesn't wake the big bison. The big bison is asleep. That one's done. MC has put that one out for a midday nap. But the other ones go there. As your decision to try and panic them away from the town seems to have been working pretty well. Saito, while this is all happening, you went up to see what is on the roof to kind of get a better or what is from the roof to kind of get a better display. Now, Happy Slappy's is a 2-story building. The upper story is some rooms and stuff and a little bit of storage. And then the lower story is the bar and a little bit of like friendly card game. It's not the official gambling hall of Plainsview, but people gamble where they want to gamble. Give me a perception check, because there's only like a couple other things that might even possibly be in your view, and then otherwise the vast expanse of lands with the large mountainous kind of structures in the great distance.
My
On this
perception.
cloudless midday.
That's a 25.
25 is
I
very
rolled
good.
high.
25 is very good.
good.
25
I see
happens.
everything.
A 25 happens, and you look, seeing them going.
Is the stream down?
What?
Is the stream down, or is it just me? Sorry, never
Is
mind.
it-
It looks up to me.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Totally my bad. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. It's always fine to call that out. Because I'm not paying attention to anything but like the camera or sometimes the OBS. So you see all of the bison, the medium-sized bison, kind of rush toward the west. They do look like they're going out of town. They're still trampling the occasional barrel and stuff like that, but they're not nearly as chaotic. To the east, though, to the east where they came from, you see way off in the distance with your 25 perception. You see kind of a billowing sort of unnatural smoke. It's not black. It's not white. It's not gray like that. You can't really see the origin of it. You just see the kind of beginning pillar of it. but it's almost like a sickly kind of purplish hue. It's still gray, but the way the light reflects off it gives it kind of a purplish kind of hue. If you had glanced at it, maybe even glanced at it from the ground, you wouldn't have seen as high or as low to it where the purple's a little bit more dense before the smoke has dispersed. But it is a ways out there, but there is definitely some smoke in that. And with that being a 25 perception, I think Saito, being, in town and understanding of the area, would know that that's kind of in the direction. It might be in the direction of a much discussed local, almost like arguably a tourist trap if it was near the road, but much discussed local landmark of a spring that kind of has a lot of rumors around it. Maybe it's cursed, maybe it's a blessing. A little almost oasis that kind of sits a couple days away, but on this clear day, on this relatively flat surface, you can see it, and from this distance that from here it looks almost like you would track like a kind of off in the distance campfire, which means it must be a massive pillar of smoke where it's at this. That's what you get, Saito.
And it's purple?
Purple kind of, it's got a purple hue to it at kind of the lowest end, and it quickly dissipates up. Yeah, it's got kind of a purple vibe to it.
Okay. Well, first things first, I suppose. But all the bison now has been going to the west now.
They're moving to the west, with the exception of the one that's asleep in front of MC after his mighty headbutt.
Right. Sato's just gonna drop in front of Tally and Nell. It seems like the bison were spooked by a fire near the old spring.
Y'all have a spring out
Yeah.
here? I thought it was just all desert.
There is one far off to the
The
east.
spring is alleged.
Legend. Wow. Should someone help MC? We just glance over.
I like
MC,
the
how
three of
you
them just
doing?
look over.
How you doing, MC? How you looking?
Three of them just look over at MC.
Yeah. I think
Hand to the
MC, first of all, is surveying the damage to the house and not like counting his blessings, but like recognizing that he is going to be the one hired to come fix the now giant hole in this house. I think, yeah. Can I have a pet bison? I think after that, like, realizes this bison is eventually going to wake up. I think he is just slowly dragging it so that it is facing west, so that when it wakes up, it will run that direction. I don't think he has a real good grasp of what's going to happen when this bison wakes up.
I don't know if the bison has that. You're all just watching MC just drag this huge bison slowly.
Yeah.
Saito's gonna go help drag bison to
To
wherever
the west end
it
of
is
town.
that-
To just the west end of town.
Yeah. MC, please
alive?
allow me to help.
Oh.
What was
Thanks,
that?
Saito. I figure we put it at the west end of town and it'll run off with all its friends.
Is that how
Well,
bison work?
I don't know how bison work. I can't believe it's asleep right now.
I think by
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
time this one awakes, it might be a little late to catch up with the rest of the herd.
Oh,
Y'all sure it's
That's
gonna
sad.
wake up?
Is it asleep?
It's
Or
breathing.
is it-
It's snoring.
like
it's
It's
breathing.
snoring.
It's visibly asleep.
Yeah,
He
it's
oh,
might-
it's
visibly
snoring.
asleep.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah,
He
it's
might
That's
snoring.
kind of cute.
wake
It's
up.
snoring.
I'm not letting you
Could
have
Could
a,
have fed
have
town
a pet
for a
bison.
while.
I'm not letting your team have a pet bison. Episode 1. That's not happening.
Aw, come on.
That's not happening.
But mommy,
That's not a no, but that's not a yes
him.
and. That's just a hard no. Tell your players no on Pet Bison.
Oh, mommy.
Biggest, baddest bison in the West. He can pull our cart.
He's the biggest bison.
He is a very big bison.
Big boy.
Mommy, how could we not have a ride? We're cowboys, mommy.
Well, the group is sort of like helping MCs / talking about this bison, discussing would a bison eat? Maybe you could possibly house a bison somewhere in town. Would this bison be useful in X, Y, and Z? Back at Happy Slappies. I'm back at Happy Slappies. You've been when the gunshot went off, Jolly Bell, you saw Grandpa Joe do exactly what he always does when a gunshot goes off, which is produce an old dusty blunderbuss. You've never seen him fire it, but he has it, and it comes out of seemingly nowhere. Now, his eyes aren't open still, but he's got it trained right at the door the moment he hears the big gunshot, because he doesn't know really what's happening. But he's not a trigger happy kind of person. That's not the kind of happiness that Grandpappy Joe brings to Happy Slappies and everything. But he's got it trained. A few more people are beginning to filter in. I would love if you would make a perception check for me, Jolly Bell.
You okay? 15?
15? All right, I'd say 15 is fair enough. In all this commotion, with Nell and Tally and Saito leaving, with the chaos in the town, with you making sure the people coming in there, with Grandpappy Joe paying attention to the door, everyone's paying attention to the front of the building. You hear it. Just a little bit of a jingle, a little bit of a jangle. Draws your attention. Big Bill is slowly collecting up all of the money that's been left on the poker table that was distracted from and everything, and trying to very slyly and very cautiously and eyes looking in every direction except for yours, of course, slyly trying to just steal all of the money from the gambling, not just Nels, but the other couple people that were playing too. Big Bill is just doing that. What's Jolly B's reaction to this? Jolly Bell. God damn it. One day I will not say Jolly B.
I really want to start a game where I'll have like a little cup of whiskey, and every time somebody calls her Jollibee, I'm gonna take a swig of that whiskey.
For stream reasons, it is just H2O.
Yeah, it's just tea.
Oh,
it's
spicy
tea. It's tea.
H2O. That's
My spicy tea. My spicy tea.
Yeah, it's spicy
Peanut
tea.
butter tea, maybe. But the flowers where human ears would be kind of shudder slightly. She takes a glance, and then she will throw pinquills from her fingers and just have it hit the table and somewhere close to his hand.
As warning shots, if you will.
As warning shots, pretty much. It's like,
beautiful.
Now, and just address him now, Big Bill, I know you ain't coming around here trying to steal people's good hard-earned money just because you lost out on your watch.
All right. I need you to roll me a unarmed attack. That's a +6. You can roll at your physical die if you want, but it's a +6 for you.
What dice do I use?
Mm-hmm. Oh, pretty dead. Pretty dead.
Which dice am I rolling for that?
Just a D20 +6.
Okay. Okay.
In your actions icon, which is the second icon in from the left, the little diamonds, you'll see dart or unarmed strike. They both get a +6. And so you can roll it digitally by hitting the strike +6 on the character sheet, or you can roll a physical die, or you can just roll a D20 in the bottom of the chat, the little dice icons down there.
Oh,
Beautiful. Um,
A 20.
a 20.
a nice dirty 20.
30.
The accuracy that you have with your little like spiny quills that you can extend and retract depending on how much you like someone or how much they like them. The accuracy you have with these is shocking to people every time they've seen it. And you've been in Plainsview for decades. And it's always a party trick that everyone's here for. Not as fun for Big Bill in that moment where he kind of eyeballs you for like a moment with that when you put that down, and then he's like, I just wanted my watch back. That's I didn't mean anything. And he just starts like, well, he's apologizing and making kind of eye contact with you, just putting back the gold where it went and everything. And with a dirty 20, I think he does put the watch back on the table. And he's like, if you could not tell Deborah about any of this, I would really appreciate it. And Deborah's his wife. She's not going to be happy about the whole journey. The whole journey, she will be very disappointed in me with. And I would like to maintain that. I'll talk to Nell and to Saito about this after all the commotion. And he kind of just sheepishly just like leaves an extra gold down at kind of the edge of the table, and is like, for your advice, and then just sort of dissipates, cowers himself backwards.
Jolly Bell's gonna walk up and pick up the extra gold that he placed down, saunter up to him, and just press the gold right into the middle of his chest, like, now, sugar, you don't have to worry about a thing. I'm not going to tell you why, so long as you do the right thing. We'd be happy to see you again next time once you've got all your business sorted out. Now you take care, okay?
That is a very kind way of saying get the fuck out. He takes his hat off his head and is like, thank you so much. Takes the gold back because he's not gonna not spend money when he doesn't have to, and skedaddle on out. We're gonna for narrative's sake and to get you all kind of collected in the same space, we're going to kind of a little bit move forward. You get the bison to the west end of town, where it's a little bit farther out. So even if it did decide to move north or south, it would literally have to choose to go back into town belligerently to put any more of the buildings threat. And Saito, MC, Nell, Tally, you begin kind of making your way back to the center. Most folk have been kind of gathering. What are you all talking about now?
I think I left my money back at the bar. God damn it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Nella's taken off back towards the bar.
He says, well, I mean, now's as good a time as any. Next round's on me.
This is why you're my favorite robot. You're my favorite robot that I've ever met, ever. Also the only one, but also my favorite. Anyways, let's go.
I feel like Tally just looks over at Saito with this very kind of like, you seeing this? Like, just like a kind of face.
Saito's just going to just thank you for your help with the gun. It was very effective.
I think Nell, she thought of it.
I do have words to speak with Nell.
Be nice.
Have I ever not been?
Some folks would debate it.
I think I've been lovely.
All right.
Question: can Jolly Bell, like, has she had escorted Big Bill out and she's at the door? Can she see them?
Yeah,
And the gigantic bison at the end. Okay. I was just kind of wanted to call out to them, be like, think we should give it a name. Make it part of the town. What y'all think?
I mean, what do you even name bison? Like, I've never had one before.
George seems
Hello.
like a nice, solid name.
George the Bison it is.
George the Bison.
Well, I hope George has a nice, safe run away from town, because if he comes in again, he's going to be George Steak.
Let's not kill George. There's a lot of other things to eat.
Do y'all think that George is going to be okay? Like, is his family going to find him or come back for him? Or
I think George is alone now. But he's a big boy. I think he might be just fine.
Well, no, that's really sad. That's really sad. That's a sad thing to say.
They've collected close enough.
If you touch a wild animal. Sorry.
No, continue. Always overtalk the GM.
I heard a story that if you touch a wild animal, they're not going to be able to rekindle back with the pack.
We just left him out there in the desert. Should we go back? Because now I feel guilty. Like, this is...
I would like to say that is a myth.
It's true. Could have been about a bird. I don't know.
That too is a myth.
You all kind of collect back into happy slappies. A lot of the town has decided that it's a half day on the old work schedule with this pretty wild events. Saito, you caught the smoke earlier. Caught sight of the smoke? You didn't catch any smoke. But you caught sight of the smoke earlier, kind of off in the distance toward the fabled, the mysterious oasis that's kind of to the east of town that people talk about.
They're definitely going to mention that to the others, that was probably the cause of the bison's attempted stampede of the town, of the village, little crossroads, whatever we want to call Plainsview.
Well, I mean, I reckon we should go out and see what that is so that, it doesn't happen again. I don't know how many times I can headbutt a bison to put him to sleep. That may have just been a one and done.
But if you've done it once, why can't you do it again? I bet you could.
You know what, Nell? You're right. I'm going to headbutt the next bison we see and put him to sleep as well.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. That's your signature move now. Nell is like obsessively counting the coins as she has this conversation.
It's all there. Watch is also still on the table.
Jolly Bull. What happened to Big Bull?
Oh, he decides to go home for the day. You'll probably catch him later tonight, maybe tomorrow. It's been a rough day.
Nell, may we speak?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. Why?
Allow me to buy that watch off of you.
Okay. I mean, I ain't got no use for a watch.
They're not gonna explain themselves. They're just like, I would like to buy that watch, please.
She pauses for a minute, process. Yeah, no, I mean, that's good with me. Just I ask for whatever it's worth. She doesn't try to upsell it. But she doesn't undersell
Saito
it either.
No, I don't think Saito would know how much
you would
that
probably ask for the same that it was bet against, which is 25 gold. It's a 25 gold watch.
25 gold, yeah. Then they
look. I mean, it was a bet.
25 gold.
And so, give me a D20 luck check, please, Saito.
Oh,
you
please,
definitely have
I have
25
some
gold.
money.
You have at least
I do?
25.
Oh,
But
good.
but we're seeing how much more you have than 25. How much of a
Probably-
gesture is this?
Like, where am I in my cycle of spending money and needing to go find a new job?
That's what the luck check is about.
It's a
At
friend.
20?
Yeah.
That's yeah. Let's go.
I
You
just came back from a job.
you similarly to Nell right now, especially, are surprisingly flush with cash.
Not from
After a back and forth with a person that had hired you to find or after a back and forth to a person that had hired you to find a lost cat in town, which you would have done for free because it was lost cat, right? And you got the time and
Yeah,
everything.
it's probably like Naruto. That cat disappears every other week.
Every other week. But you would have done. You found their little tabby, and they just absolutely filled your pockets, and it was way too much, and then you couldn't accept it, and then they tried to slip it into your pocket without you noticing, and you noticed, and then they had a messenger deliver it to you, and it was a situation where no matter how you resisted it, they would make sure that you got that money. So so for you, this is. Well, like normally this would be a very significant gesture, and it still is. But like you've still got another solid like 20, like 18 to 20 gold left after this, and so you're set for a while. You don't have to then go to work to find a job tomorrow just to eat, kind of thing. You're doing pretty well on this because of that. Wonderful feline beloved patron and everything. So yeah, 25 gold, you got it.
Is that it? Patron Steve. Anyway, how much gold do I have left after giving the 25?
I would say 18 total.
18.
Like all up, you have about 18 units of gold's wealth. However, you want to split it up among silver and copper.
Okay. And now I have a pocket watch.
Jolly Bell kind of wants to approach like MC and Tally and just kind of lean in and be like, "So, y'all know about the purple cloud Saito saw out in over by the old dry watering hole? Isn't that what they call passing gas?" I'm a little confused as to
That's
why
usually
passing gas would scare the bison.
how that phrase is. Never mind. Right idea, wrong kind of thing, I think. It might have been a geyser or something, or like something collapsed, maybe.
You implying somebody's butthole collapsed like a geyser? Or that they have the butthole the size of the geyser?
That's called a prolapse, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I. Hey, Jolly, I know you're awful curious about stuff like that, but you ever thinking about like going to maybe talk to the doctor and asking him some of these questions?
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
spent a whole
he's-
darn day with the doctor, but he kind of ushered me out after maybe the 250th question I had for him in the one single day of his job session. So he
Damn, you
doesn't let me
counted.
come back anymore.
I can see why. Just promise me. I don't really have the nerve for that kind of thing. So if you gotta ask me a question like that, you gotta make it count. Just maybe like one at a time, just so I can make sure I process it right and I give you the best answer I possibly can.
I
Deal?
understand. Deal. Mighty fine deal. I appreciate that very much.
I, as the game mommy, am extremely curious since this was a lean-in conversation specifically to Tally and MC. How is MC reading all of this conversation? How is the mechanical
confusion
man?
And
how's
then
the
he
mechanic man?
and then he goes, fun fact, I actually exude a small amount of gas outside of my gears at all times.
Is yours
It's
purple?
odorless. It is
That was
not.
where I thought it was going to go, and I'm so glad it didn't go that way.
Odorless. Why is yours odorless, but then human people's is not?
Bad diet. Anyway.
I don't eat, so that could be it.
That probably is it.
Fair point. Fair point.
The moment that like you're having your conversations amongst yourselves and everything, it made you distracted enough to not notice the mayor of Plainsview walking in. This is a gentleman with a big, long, brown going to gray beard. Definitely in his. He's not old, but he's definitely middle-aged. Used to be fitter than he was. Definitely put on some pounds. Still looks like he could handle himself. Not particularly tall, like an average height man. Pinstripe vest over like a white linen shirt, suspenders underneath it, right? Bow tie actually up top with like two little dangling. So not like a full bolo, but a bow tie with long dangles on it. Little bit of a young Colonel Sanders vibe. A little bit of a younger Colonel Sanders vibe, but comes in holding both corners of his vest and everything, and it's like, well, I overheard that you my fine mechanical friend looking maybe to investigate this mystery that has besought our town, besieged us, if you will. I would be more than interested in it myself. Of course, as the leader of Plainsview, it's important that I be concerned with the security, and if Mr. Saito found some sort of manner of mystery or a potential danger, we don't want herds or stampedes of all sorts of monstrous beasts rolling on through the town. Certainly it was bison this time, but there are dangers greater in the dark. Would you please be so kind? I know that you will be you're a busy man, but if some of the townsmember might volunteer, and I'm going to say that Tally, Nell, and Jolly Bean, in kind of a more almost subconscious way, really cue in on that word volunteer rather than are commissioned to volunteer to maybe investigate the matter. Currently, our law enforcement is a little bit busy with the manner of panic of the town. Plus, there might be criminals about looking to take advantage of these dangerous times. So, I heard and saw that headbutt MC, and I heard the blast of that gun. I'm sure amongst the group of you, you might find a way to be able to come back to it. All of you know
What's
this.
the mayor?
What?
What's the mayor's name?
The mayor's name is Rig Timmons.
Oh my gosh.
Rig is short for Riggard. Riggard Timmons.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
Rig Timmons. And the
Sweating
mayor.
to the oldies.
Rig looks and Rig has been the mayor of this town for like the last 8-ish or so years. So a while. He took over for the last mayor, who was an older gentleman that just retired and then ended up moving out of Plainsview, with his wife and a couple of his grandkids and one of his children and everything. They kind of went off. But Rig Timmons is the mayor of the town. I don't think MC or Jolly a lot of you wouldn't necessarily know any better. But for those of you that have a past kind of interfacing with politicians, Rig Timmons is absolutely the quintessential person with that kind of voice and countenance. He is a mouthpiece, good at talking, good at dramatizing and hyperbole. maybe not as many public works have been done under Rig Timmons' administration as were previously done in Plainsview. That sort of a vibe of a man.
Yeah. Tally kind
but-
of. You see her worry at her one tusk a little on the side of her mouth, but she don't say nothing yet.
Well, Mayor Timmons, I had already planned to head out that way by myself. I would be thrilled to have the company. And I think, can I just do a straight luck check to see if MC is smart enough to try and get his newfound friends some money?
Yeah. You don't have to do a luck check. This is we're going to call this and not that it might be better or worse for you, but we're going to call this a straight wisdom check. This is about wisdom.
That's a 0. Yep.
So it is a luck check, essentially, for you, but
Yep.
I wanted to give you maximum chance there.
Flat 10.
Ooh.
Flat 10. I think seeing you've done you get paid for the jobs you do around town by the various citizenry. Typically jobs are paid, and you're fully aware of that. And whereas I don't think MC personally would care or even think
He does
about it,
not.
the moment you see kind of maybe Tally worrying a bit on that tusk, and the way that Rig sort of accentuated the word volunteer and everything, I think that MC would probably assume payment was coming for it, regardless of language, and maybe address it from that position, whether or not he says anything, because a 10's a pretty coin flip character decision at that point.
Mayor Timmons, I was already planning on heading out that way. I can't speak for the rest of the folks and what they might have going on. I mean, my shop will have to be closed for a few days, but I can catch up on things when I get back. But I don't know what Nell and Tally and Saito and, who's going to run the bar if Jolly Bale comes with us?
The moment you say that, behind the bar, hunched over, you can almost barely see his head behind the bar, but you notice juggling bottles as Grandpappy Joe is like, Grandpappy Joe just chimes up, "Oh, I've got the bar. I can handle all of this. You should go on a bit of a journey. It's been a long time since you've had a day off, Jolly, much less a few. You should go have fun with your friends." And like he's literally doing like Vegas style bar tricks where he's like back catching bottles and pouring them across the things. No one's ordered anything. He is wasting so much booze just to show off a little bit.
I'll drink it.
I mean, if you take one, he doesn't stop you.
I think at that point, having MC mention that Saito's going to step up, Mayor Timmons.
Yes,
Well,
Mr. Saito. Just really hitting both syllables.
I just finished my most recent job, so I am free to take on another. But for our friends here, how would you be compensating their time?
Oh, Rig looks around because the public's there and everything looks like that. Compensation, of course. An appropriate bounty fee will be administered. Let's 3 days travel.
Forgive me. Yes, sorry. Please continue.
Oh, no problem, Mr. Saito. I breezed over it because I was too flummoxed by the earlier events. Compensation, of course, for this. The town's security is paramount. 10 gold apiece, and of course, an increased fee if there's any personal threat or danger or harm that might come to your wonderful personages.
I had absolutely zero doubt that you would be treating us so wonderfully.
Of course, never let it be said that Mayor Riggins does not take care of his citizenry.
You said extra payment if there's something scary.
Yes, of course. Hazard pay, I believe, is what they
Like
call it in the
insurance,
cities.
yeah. Yeah, no, I've heard that. Give that to us up front.
The hazard pay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You wanted us to go check out the giant column of smoke? You don't think that sounds hazardous?
All right. Give me a this is a persuasion, not persuasion. This is a
Diplomacy.
diplomacy check.
From me or from?
No, from now, because yours just passed. The catching him not saying pay. There was no roll necessary, but asking for that hazard pay up front. Now you're not wrong on an objective level. You're absolutely correct, but politicians going by politicians. So yeah, diplomacy check, and roll it with a. Or add an extra +2 circumstantial bonus, as that is sort of what the help action is. A couple people could make it. It's actually just a +1 in Pathfinder. But since the 5 of you are there, I'm going to say +2. I'm going to split the difference on there being 4 extra people and say +2.
I love chat. Money, please.
Money,
I quickly
please.
looked through my actions. I don't think I have
It's
one
not-
specifically for this.
It's not an action.
well,
Yeah, it's just a check. But yeah,
The
sometimes you have
Swashbuckler has some abilities that, like a
negotiate
creative
it better.
diversion
hmm
ability, yeah, but I don't think I do. So just +5 diplomacy check. +2.
Yeah, so +7.
Okay, I need the +2. So 17 total. 10 + 5 + 2.
Okay, I am going to decide what is being extremely cheap. Here I'm actually going to roll my own diplomacy check for Rig here and see if Rig Timmons can figure out a way to say this. Ooh, this is tight.
Ooh.
Rig looks around and is like, I'm of course more than happy to provide the initial 10 gold out the gate. But I would not want to underpay you for the hazard you potentially do. Here's I am more than happy to provide the hazard pay upon completion, but as you know, it's a poor politician and poor leader of a town that pays for services yet to be unrendered. I'm sure you'll go out and investigate, but if it just happens to be something that's moved on at the time, I don't think that there's any concern, unless there was some sort of guarantee that you would return said hazard pay to me if said hazards did not appear. You're all trustworthy citizens of Plainsview. I see no reason to that. A guarantee, perhaps a memento or something that could be responded to, or a signed contract.
Saito's gonna step
Ooh.
one step closer than is usually comfortable
Mhm.
to Mayor Timmons. Again, I apologize for being blunt. This is, again, not my first language. I just want to understand I heard everything correctly. You wish to send us into the space that is currently on fire, dangerous enough to send a herd of bison through our town, on just the plain 10 gold because you believe what we are facing might not be hazardous. Is that correct?
I want to lean in on that as Saito finishes and Tally gets up. Now, Saito, I'm sure it would be to the best interest of our dear mayor here to keep his word for the very many constituents that are here and his constituents that will be doing this job for him. And you said he's about average normal human man height,
Yeah,
right?
he's like 5'10", 5'11", yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
so
the
she's
16.
stood up and just is like looking down at him.
There's
like,
several
From how
taller
hard
people
we're
now.
going down on people's exact height in this game. Like usually people are like, "Oh yeah, he's tall." Like we know to the inch how tall these people are.
Oh, yeah.
It's important.
So,
It's
Kelly's
important. 2
definitely
inches
just-
matters.
she's got that
Two
full height.
2 inches
Yeah.
does matter.
It started coming
Every
out of my
inch
mouth
counts.
before I could stop it. It's just there.
I was
But yeah,
thinking
she's got the full grin and everything. So
Mhm.
you see both of her tusks, and she's close enough that you can see like they're decorated. So she's close enough that he can see that, and she's just smiling at him.
But, like,
and I want to
zero-
intimidate him.
for zero reason whatsoever, Saito's hand just rests on his katana. Very
Zero
obviously.
reason. All right, roll intimidation. Which one of you has the higher intimidation between
I have
Saito?
+5 on intimidation.
Okay, you got the higher then.
Okay,
Alright.
so
I
+5
swear.
plus
Actually-
another 2, because there's the 2 of you doing it, so +7 total.
I'm not gonna change my
Us
dice.
two
'cause I
quiet
really want
assholes are
to
just like,
lie.
say again.
Can I really fast just add to this? And Nell says, "Well, Mr. Mayor, that's awful kind of you. I know that you're a real generous type, but like really just her voice like dripping in derision because I want to demoralize him with
Yeah!
a wild time. You can shake an enemy's resolve, choose a creature within 30 feet who you're aware of, attempt an intimidation check against their will DC. If I succeed, they take they are demoralized for 10 minutes.
Okay, let's
No, doesn't
gi-
say how long they're demoralized for.
give me their intimidation. Or give me that
Okay. So
intimidation
So it's
from
plus
you.
5 plus what?
So +5 +2, so a total of +7 for Saito's roll. But first, I want to get this demoralized using the
I'm attempting
actions.
I'm attempting to make it easier on on Tally. I got a 15.
That's enough for a civilian mayor, no matter how puffed up he might be, to be officially demoralized. The DC of this will lower for this one from where the kind of success and then critical success land. Now it is Saito's roll. Saito, intimidation plus add 7 to it total.
That was a dirty 20. I didn't roll that high, but I have a lot of pluses.
You do. It's important. After looking at this, there's a brief, almost panicked glance in the direction of MC and Jolly Bell.
Oh, MC has gone to the bar and is ordering drinks for everyone. He has
I
missed this
love
entire conversation.
Yeah, and
Jolly
everything.
Bell's also like at the bar.
MC is spending
The
his
best
10
boy.
gold.
Immediately. Panic glance, wishing a moment of want, a desire to be negotiating with the people who don't know any better versus the people that do.
Also, Jollibee's grandpa was making free drinks.
Yeah.
He
Not your
was,
grandpa,
but you buy around arguably he's showing off, but eventually that fountain runs dry and you have to order it. But nonetheless, Jolly Bell and MC at the bar, not part of this. Rig looks around real quickly. You know what? Let it never be said that I'm so bullheaded as to be as strong-willed and panicked as a person. I'm more than happy to meet you in the middle there. Hazard pay after you return, certainly based off the hazard, but instead of 10 gold, we'll do 15, half again as much. And then that way everybody is going in knowing that there might be a little bit of a tussle. If it looks like it might be overwhelming, you can always come back, ask for more of the regular town citizenry to help you overcome this challenge. But for now, I think it's only fair that you're right. Perhaps I was underselling the meaningfulness of the event and what you all might be offering to us. 15 gold a piece for that. And I'm going to say with your intimidation, you can see that he is sweating, and you can see that this is him actually on his back foot. There's no instinct that he's like holding back more secret money that he could easily spend on this, because now we're talking about 75 gold on a scouting mission that will probably have some danger, but is like essentially an individual sheriff's like 6-month wage, right? Like
Saito's going to reach over, just carefully straighten his. He's wearing a vest, you said.
Yeah, he's wearing a vest. He's basically dressed like me.
He's just gonna straighten the labels of his jacket ever so slightly and be like, "We truly are very lucky to have a mayor as kind and considerate as you." And pat him on the shoulder.
Nell's gonna spit in her hand and hold it out. Sounds like a deal.
He reaches to shake Nell's hand. He makes eye contact with Tally because you're the third person that was pushing him for funds. Like very much in a, are we good? Are you gonna let me go? Is this gonna keep happening?
The smile goes back down to normal smile and not like orc smile. And it's just like, thank you for listening, Mayor. I appreciate you being amenable to wisdom.
And MC walks over and hands the mayor a drink and goes, "I got you a drink."
Back up, good cup, guys.
As MC hands Rig Timmons the drink, as the renegotiation and offering up, you actually get 15 gold, MC, along with everyone else, including Jolly Bell. We're going to go kind of almost quietly over, if the camera, if you will, pans to Jolly Bell, kind of probably like near the bar, behind the bar, next to the bar, right across from Grandpappy Joe, who you haven't seen tend bar in like a decade and a half. He hasn't tried to do this, and Grandpappy Joe just looks at you. You're gonna go with them, right? You're gonna go with them to find out what the smoke's right, Jolene?
Jolly Bell, like, because she's so tall, she like flops herself down onto the bar to lean on it. Her natural's just all up on there as she like perches over to him. It's like, well, Grandpappy Joe, I mean, if you're all right, man in the bar, I mean, I can call Billy Bob Joe, Bobette, Darlene over to help you man the bar. I sure as heck will. But for the sake of your safety, so that the whatever purple wind is breaking loose all the way out in the dried up lake, keep you safe, I sure as heck will go.
Grandpappy Joe just kind of waves off, and it's like, Jolene, I'll be fine. I just want you to go and enjoy yourself out there with have a little bit of fun. Grandpappy Joe, fully unaware of Jolene as like a physical entity, just this adorable, like in his mind, like youth, somewhere between 14 and 8, like a adult child, essentially, that he like looks after, or in his head and everything. And he goes, you shouldn't be cooped up here. You go out, you show him what you can do. We've seen it in the bar, but you show him what you can do. You give him hell, sweetie. And he goes to pat you, and you constantly have to retreat, retract, because he just doesn't worry about it. He just goes to just pat your shoulder, reaches up to pat your shoulder, and it's like, and come back with a handful of stories for your grandpappy. That's what your story for the last some odd years has been working the bar. Come back for with a little bit of fun. And
Jolene will touch his hand, give it a bunch of kisses. I sure will, Grandpapa Joe. I'll give you all the greatest stories that I could ever see and tell you all the new adventures about my friends so you could tell all your friends at the bar when you're out here relaxing and I'm back at the bar.
Okay. And he kind of smiles, and then someone else orders a drink, and he goes to start serving that. And with that, and with the group of you being hired out to go investigate mysterious purple smoke column a few days ride out, we will end our very first session of Fool's Roll here on Beggarstreet. Thank you so much, my wonderful players. Well, I figure out someone to raid. I would like to shout out thanks first to the audio provider of this track that you heard on the intro and everything. That's Lobo Loco, where you can find their music on Free Music Archives. All Right in Louisiana was the instrumental that you heard. And of course, thank Beggarstreet for letting me stream on their channel. And thank everybody that hung out, enjoyed this in the chat and everything. Starting with, we'll start with Neon. Give them your social media tags, tell them where they might be able to find you and everything, and then pick someone else while I figure out someone to raid.
Cool. So I am Scout. I'm also known as Neon Saline, neon like the light, saline like the drip. You can find me just about everywhere under that handle: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I'm there. I like to talk about RPGs and video games. I stream on Saturdays, and let's take it over to Rhea.
I'm Rhea Rika. I'm Rhea Rika on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm just a little weird person doing little weird things. I don't really have a theme, but it's pretty much going to be, my content will center definitely around our shenanigans here and whatever I decide to cosplay or put on myself that day. Gonna toss it over to Julia.
Muted.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted, love.
Julia, I
Yeah,
want you to
that's
know that
great.
you're muted.
Good
You
start.
were muted.
Yeah,
I want you to know that you were muted.
We made it through the entire session with no one doing that during roleplay.
So close.
It was just me talk about myself. It's not that important, but I'm at G's Julia on TikTok. I talk about D&D and TTRPGs, and yeah, come hang out. And throw it to Jordan.
I'm at the Jordan Brown. Importantly, there's an O where there probably should be an A, but you can blame my mother for that. So I'm on the TikToks, and I just defend Emily Axford all day, every day. It's what I do with my life now. I have established a brand, and it's all I'm going to do. And apparently, I'm expanding to Marisha Ray now as well, because that seems like a fun thing. And Kathleen Kennedy. So if you don't like women, don't come to my channel. Jack, you want to?
It's
You
great
wanna
to be on
take
the
us on?
One
payroll.
person left.
Sit
Jordan.
down.
Just me. I'm Jack. I'm Meister Hypester everywhere. Mostly active on Twitch and TikTok. TikTok is a bunch of me being weird, cosplay stuff and memes. And on my Twitch, I play games. I do art. I will be bringing on TTRPGs. I paint miniatures. If you can think of it, I'm probably doing it. Whatever is legal. What is legal?
Special shout out to Jack, who is in South Africa, and it is what, like 5 o'clock in the morning for you right now?
Oh, it's just 5:22. The sun's coming
Wild.
up. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah,
Don't worry
Jack.
about it. To be fair, I'm also very often found on this stream at around this hour, so this is a very common occurrence. Don't worry about it.
Indeed.
I know exactly
indeed.
what I'm doing with my life.
I am. My name is Steve. My given name, my government name is Steve. I am the Game Mommy. You will find me here. On Beggar Street. You'll find me actually tomorrow, at roughly the same time for Monster of the Week with Jack, and then you can find me over on my channel, Dying of Exposure, on TikTok, on Twitch. I do some D&D and TTRPG discussions over there, and yeah, you're just gonna see me a lot. I'm just gonna be in here a lot. That's what's gonna happen. I'm planning for 2 to 3 times a week. It's an absolute, you're gonna get sick of me. Thank you everyone for hanging out. We are gonna raid Total Party Chill. And so hang out for the raid. Make sure to comment, like them. They're wonderful. And we'll see you in a couple weeks to find out what that smoke mystery is. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.